Welcome back. This is Mrs. K's Way of the Chapter 3 review, percents, rates, and ratios, and I'm talking about problem number 2 of our review. So just to remind you, number 2 is talking about Gary and his reading of some books. So the question states that Gary reads 240 pages of a 600-page book. What percent of the book did he read? Well, I have drawn my handy-dandy model that reminds us that 0 pages is the same as 0%, and I know that if I went from 0 all the way to the full amount, that would be equal to 100%. So now I'm trying to see in the context of the problem what 420 pages and 600 pages would be. So if we look at the two numbers, 240 and 60, well, we know that this 60 is the total book. That's how many total pages that there are. So we could put that into the 100%. If we read 100% of the book, we would have read 600 pages, which allows us to know that 240 is going to be part of the book. Now, when we're making our diagram, we want to try to see about where is this going to go. Well, since we know that half or 50% of 600, which would go right about here, is 300, we know that 420 is more than that, so we can just have our 420 be around after 50%. Now, we also want to try to figure out what are we trying to find out of this problem. Well, we know that there is 420 pages out of 600 pages, so we are now trying to look for the percent. What is the percent of this? So again, if you've watched some of my other videos, you know that we can talk about this in the sense of the ratio table. So our ratio table here is talking about our ratio of read pages, which I happen to have in the color red, and the color blue is our total pages, meaning our total 100%. So we can write here that we have our 420 out of 600 total pages. Now, since we're looking for a percent, we might want to remind ourselves what that means. Percent means out of, or per 100, meaning cent. So if we have 600 total pages, we want to try to figure out how many pages would you read, or how much did Gary read if he only read 100 pages. So we're going to try to be able to use our ratio table to help us with that. So how can we get from 600 total pages to 100 pages? Well, I know that 600 divided by 100 is the same as 6 divided by 6, so I'm going to divide 600 by 6, which means I'm also going to divide 420 by 6. That leaves me with a final solution of 70, but since that is 70, bring this over here, out of 100, that is the same as 70%. So we can write that as our final answer in our diagram as well. For all your hard work for number 2, here's a picture of Mrs. K and cuddly Mrs. Callie, who happens to be asleep in my arms. Such a cute little poops.